in the cohort that is really delving into how can we individualize the learning for our students to make it meaningful for them, and so that we're teaching them what they need to know. And then again, that improves their behavior and as well their academics overall. And that is in closing. So any other questions?
I have just kind of a few general questions. So I know that we're just kind of getting into this. We're really bringing it here this year. Do we know from other districts that have adopted responsive classroom how long it takes to get into full implementation, so that it's, you know, everybody's on board and we're seeing the results that we expect to see?
So I can tell you it depends on how the district's doing it. There's so many different ways of approaching it. So it could be a district approach or it could be a school approach. In Chariho, at my last school, Richmond Elementary School, it was a school approach. So it took us approximately 3 years for it to get going really well, but they had been starting it before we got there. We added the CARES component. We added the CARES matrix that we're using also at Hugh Cole, which is how to show cooperation, assertion, responsibility, empathy, and self-control in all the different settings in the building, in the hallways, in the gym, in the out at recess, in the bathroom. So yes, it takes a while. It depends on each district and how they're doing it. This district is doing it district-wide, which is great. So I think that that's a big help. We at Hugh Cole had started out with BWRSD had funded us through book studies and through books that they bought for us. And that's the way that it started out, as a seed actually at Andrews first. Yeah, through WEF. So it kind of has started in pockets with their support, and then now it's built, and now it's a district initiative, which we're really thrilled about. And it was so helpful, I think, for all of the principals to get together at the beginning of this school year with the teachers and the teacher assistants all in one setting and say, this is the district initiative, this is what we expect in all of the schools. So I think that we're off to a good start.
So I guess is the expectation that because it's a district initiative, it might implement quicker than if it had just been that kind of a one-off, just one school looking at doing it, or are we still looking for our gains in 3 or 4 years?
I think that it can develop very well in just a school, and we see that example in Cold Andrews. All of the teachers were committed to it, they all implemented it, and it grew, and their interest in the program grew. And what I really like about responsive classrooms is that it's not just a simple program that you learn and you implement it and you're done with it. There are layers and layers of learning for teachers that go into dealing with difficult behaviors or increasing academic growth or changing the growth mindset. So the learning just goes on, and that's one of the reasons why we are in the process of training district trainers so that we can support that ongoing learning. But at the bare minimum, I think that we have some agreed upon expectations that we want to see in every single classroom. And at the same time, we want to continue to share learning and have teachers visit other classrooms as teachers deepen their practice. So that's the benefit of having the district-wide approach, is that we have model classrooms across the district that teachers will be able to go and visit. And we also have amazing principals who have taken the lead on this and are collaborating across schools and sharing ideas. And some of the literature that you have in front of you were developed by teachers who have been to the training and sharing across schools. So it's nice that we're developing a body of presentations and literature to share with families to help support the program as well.
So on the topic of the literature to share with families, that kind of goes along to my next point. It seems like this is a great thing that we're doing for 6.5, 7 hours a day for our students within the classroom. How do we, or is there a mechanism to provide parents some Excel charts so that when the children then go home, their parents are using maybe some of the reinforcing language rather than get in there and clean up your room. It's, you notice that, the room's been a little messy for a couple days. How do we like to keep our room? My question is, how do we educate our parents so they can carry over some of these tenets of responsive classroom into the home? And is there any initiatives to do a parent, hey, this is what responsive classroom, and this is how you can implement something like this in the home, just very generic, very basic, so that when the student does go home, they're seeing those same things at home, so that when they go back into the classroom, it's not like, now I've got to relearn.
So I'll let the principals respond to that, but I also wanted to add that Mrs. Reese has volunteered to work with the staff at the COSI program to teach them the language of responsive classroom, so they're very excited about that. So if any of you would just like to share briefly how you've shared the responsive classroom language with your parents. I know there have been a couple of different things going on. If you wouldn't mind coming up to the microphone so we can hear you.
At Colt Andrews, Deb and I presented to the parents. We had an assembly in the middle of it with all the families, and it was brief, but we did do an overview at least of what, because it is a shift for parents to know as well. So we did an overview of what to expect and what we're doing in school with some of the brief overlying topics, and then we had some of the handouts as well for them to take with them. So it was a start, but it's certainly something to continue.
The other thing that we also do is I do weekly newsletters, so it could be a topic, it could be a chart like that, it could be an article, it could be a video. So just embedding those things, that parents can look at those kinds of things and maybe practice them. Or here you're talking about, reinforcing language, or you're doing interactive modeling, what is that? So just keep the parents abreast of what's going on. And I know that my parent group is interested in doing like a book study. We're not sure which one yet, but I know we've talked about that as a community, so they're really on board with that, choosing the book and just discussing strategies that you can use at home so that they mirror what's going on at school. That's really the most important piece.
Deb and I, when we were back and forth last year on what we were sending out to our parents in our weekly update, and a big part in the beginning of the year was on responsive classroom. We also, at UPOL, we shared it at our Title I night, at our community assemblies that we have with our students. We focus on a character trait every month, and we do interactive modeling so parents get to see what that looks like. I always start those assemblies with using the chime, and I said, you've gotten your first lesson in a responsive classroom, being able to respond to a signal on the first time, not 3 times. If we use the signal more than 3 times, the student knows you're always going to ring that chime. It has to be the first time. So, there's bits and pieces that we've shared with the families, and then Ms. Reese, who writes our s'mores, I do the weekly update, she does the s'mores. Do you want to share how you shared some of those things?
So we took a spotlight on social emotional learning as part of the s'more, and in that we've had the CARES matrix, we've had, I can't remember now that you mentioned the teacher language, whether we've done that one or not. I think we've been doing it for the last 2 years on how we're using a responsive classroom and how they can help at home with it. So I think that's a great idea. If we haven't done that, I'll check. And we can put Lori's chart right in there, because as a parent, that is great language for them to be using.
At Rockwell and Gutierrez, we're about a year behind in having our training than the other schools have, but we have handed this out and spoken about it at PTO meetings. We also work with our COSI to start using the language. I'm hoping, Mr. Bradshaw, that every teacher had a slide on responsive classroom in her classroom presentation, and you can tell me if you saw any of those, because they were excited to share that, to put that component in. And I also, they have an amazing pamphlet out about the developmental stages, and I think somebody mentioned that. You forget what is distinctly a 7-year-old's mindset, an 8-year-old's mindset, a 9-year-old's mindset. I've ordered those for parent-teacher conferences because I think those are really eye-opening to parents. This is what you can expect in a 7-year-old's growth and development, and here are some things that you might want to do to encourage that and grow that. So that's out of the responsive classroom program. But we are definitely open if parents have more of an interest and want to do some of those things. I would be happy to hear how you're sharing that out and to put some of those in. Yardsticks, that's exactly where the methods come from, yardsticks. I've done yardsticks with TAs. We're also really working with our teacher assistants, and it's hard because we don't always have as much time with them, and we don't have faculty meeting time and stuff like that. But we're doing a book club on the language for the TAs, and we're hoping to model. We're hoping that the teachers are helping to model for the TAs as well, because they honestly have the hardest arena to do it in. They don't have a nice self-contained classroom with 24 kids in it. They're out in the recess yard. They're always kind of, running around and not listening as well. So we're really hoping to help them with that as well.
Well, I'm sorry. Just my last one, I promise. So I see we've got all our wonderful elementary school principals here. How are we implementing this at KMS and at the high school? Because I would imagine that as we talk to, this is what you can expect out of an 11-year-old mind, a 12-year-old mind, a 13, a 16, 17, 18. How does this differ at the middle school and at the high school than how it's being implemented at the elementary schools?
So Responsive Classroom is a K-8 program. It's mainly used at the elementary level. When we look at some of the middle school pieces of it, I'm not sure that it's a right fit for us. And also around the same time that the elementary schools began implementing responsive classroom, our middle and high school began training for restorative practices, which does embed a lot of the same language and expectations around building a positive school culture and treating all students and staff with dignity and respect. So we want to give those programs time to get their feet on the ground. We've had teachers that have spent a great deal of time involved in training and also working with other teachers in the school and doing presentations and training. So we're very confident that that's growing, and we want to continue to support that rather than just shift to something else.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time this evening.
I just had a couple of quick, and they're not questions that necessarily have to be answered here, but I was also going to ask how this translates into the middle school arena. So I would love to see a presentation on, what did you call it,
Restorative practice.
Restorative practice at some point. The other thing I thought of was when we were watching the videos that were so compelling because we could really see how responsive classroom works, that it would be, I wonder if it would be interesting if we were able to do something like that here in our classrooms to share with parents and guardians, because they're not in the classroom and don't get to see that, and we're making this transition, so we want parents to really understand and see what that looks like. And then I think Tara touched on it a little bit, but I wondered if the training for TAs will be like an ongoing thing.
Based on the response, it was so favorable. Both the teacher assistants and the teachers that were there all said that it was so wonderful to be together as one school community. So yes, that is the plan to continue that. And I'm happy to say that the chimes and responsive classroom strategies even went sailing. So when the teachers were doing their sailing lessons at Harrishop, they had their chimes, they were doing the hand signals, practicing the routine. So it's so nice to see that it's very fluent and it's part of the teaching and learning process.
That's interesting, because that was my last point, was just that it would be interesting to see this also move into sports with coaches. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to comment that when we implemented it last year, I think having all of our schools do it at a district level made a big difference, because we all had buy-in and we all had the same message. And teachers across the district and TAs across the district and parents all hear the same message from all of us. So I applaud the district for for moving us in that direction, and my colleagues for, joining in this effort, and it's made a difference in our implementation, I believe. Would you agree, Renee?
And one of the things you mentioned was how we're showing parents what's going on in our classrooms. A lot of the teachers take clips of their morning meeting. I have one teacher that does Foreign Language Friday, and the kids have to read in different language, and they heard a videotape it and send it home, in the dojo or whatever they're using to message parents. So they are getting a taste of what those meetings and white meetings look like. And I would just say at our faculty meeting too, every month, a teacher team has to share 2 new things to teach the others, whether it's a greeting or energizer, or even their morning message or whatever, and they get a big kick out of it, and they really turned on a lot of practice, a lot of different things that here's something you can put in your tool belt, you can try this one tomorrow, you can try this one next week. So it really has become very collaborative.
The one piece that we didn't include in our presentation are the energizers. Those are prescriptive movements that we do with students throughout the day. And the brain research tells us that kids need to move every 10 to 15 minutes. So the 2 things that we do in Bristol Warren is we have a workshop model. So that's built in, that students are not just sitting for a half an hour or a whole hour getting direct instruction, they're moving. But then we interject these energizers that have purpose. One purpose is either to refocus students. The other purpose is to calm them down. So there's different kinds of energizers. We should make you do one. I got that. But the kids just enjoy it. It could be singing a song. It could be doing some movement. But it's prescriptive and it has a reason that we do that. So you might see the teacher doing yoga. We have some teachers moving into some mindfulness practices, which is really cool during their energizers.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I've been hearing competing phrases here, so I'm a little unclear as to where exactly is this program now in each school, and where is it going to be 2 years from?
So I think it started about 3 or 4 years ago at Colt Andrews, 5 years ago at Colt Andrews, and we've seen the results of that. Congratulations, Blue Ribbon School. We started a year ago, and then the other 2, Gutierrez and Rockwell, started this year.
Okay. It is because the committee has always been big on. I'm glad it started somewhere. The committee is always big on each school should be rather homogeneous in how. So if a child, it really should make a difference if a child goes to this school and gets this wonderful program, but they go to this school and they get half the wonderful program. So
I think that just us working together, we're moving in that direction. It's so that if you go, and we have kids that go between all of our schools. I think I received students that you call from all of our schools this year, and they'll have the same practices from school to school. Even if, I think on the surface, there are certain practices that we're going, but I think what's really going to bring this to a full fruition is when we have that deep understanding about the philosophies. And so as we explore this, as we discuss this further, the teachers will have that deeper understanding about what, and we all will have this deeper understanding of how this gets implemented. Right now as we ask all the teachers to greet their students at the door, we ask them to do morning meeting, what were the other 2 guarantees? The energizers and using the signal. So those are things that you can expect to see in every classroom throughout the district.
Another question, I don't know if this is even trackable when you talk about a specific program, but as you well know, we have a problem with bullying in the district, and I can see how this type of program, this type of teaching would help diminish bullying, because you're teaching certain social and emotional skills with the children. Have you been able to track the bullying with this program, and if it's apparently success or not success in handling in bullying situations?
Well, I think we don't, I don't know if this week we might want to consider taking baseline this year, and I think that I would caution that we can make a direct correlation, because I think there's many factors that contribute to something. It might have some causation, but not a direct correlation. I think we would have to look into that and get some baseline data as we're doing it across the district.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if you can draw a direct correlation or not, but it'd be fascinating to see.
Yeah.
Just what kind of impact it's having.
Responsive Classroom actually has a course. I went, when I was at Richmond Elementary School, I went to Boston. They have one of their mini courses. It's $200 or $300, but it's on preventing bullying in your classroom. So I did attend that. I have that book. We aren't quite there yet because we're still at the second year of implementation, but it's something that we could look into and see if that's something that we wanted to take further, but they do have that resource.
Yes, I have a question for Deb. Deb, could you come up? I'm just wondering, you've had it the longest, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so do you feel that this program has contributed to your being able to be designated as a Blue Ribbon school?
Absolutely.
I thought so.
It's that calmness, part of our culture that we are a community. I think that we started out with growth mindset. There's no I can'ts. We can do it. I did a presentation to almost every class in our school today about what does it mean to be a blue ribbon. You have to have growth mindset. What is growth mindset? It's that you may, like I said, practice progress. You don't give up. It's hard work. It's perseverance. It's persistence. We never gave up. The students that were struggling, we worked even harder with them through the RTI process, through interventions. The kids that are at the top, higher echelon, we enrich their learning. And it takes a community. It was everyone in our school, from the custodians, the teachers, to the parents, teacher assistants, cafeteria workers are respected and respectful. It's everyone that contributes to us. So this has given us a culture to learn so that you can, we're not worrying about behavior so much. We get to learn. The teachers get to teach. That's what happens in a responsive classroom. You're responsible for your behavior, but it allows you to do the other things because you have a sense of community. And I think it really is a contributing factor to our movement reward. I want to think so anyway. It's not just academics. It's the social emotional learning to teach that. What does empathy sound like, look like? How does it feel? How does it feel when you disrespect another student or you're not kind? Put yourself in the shoes of another student. It's always putting it back on them so they get to feel. How do you think someone felt when you said that they didn't have nice